Yes, start. Let us start lecture. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
चला लेक्चर सुरू करू आपण with the continuation of the philosophical lecture from H. Robert Philosophy. Today we are going to learn the 12th lecture from his philosophy, that is the dynamic action of drugs. Every one of you know the drug used in homeopathy, these are not in a crude state, while these are all potentized in a specific scale, and the whatever is a hidden or whatever is a latent action or the power of the drug, it get aroused in the process of potentization. You know,
हेलो हेलो अच्छा तुम एक नंबर देखो जाए
मॅम तुम्ही म्यूट आहे.
हेलो मैम.
ओके, झालंय सुरू? आवाज आला? हॅलो,
आवाज कट होतोय मॅम.
येतोय ना?
हो आता येतोय.
हा,
येतोय मॅडम येतोय.
ठीक आहे.
स्क्रीन गेली पण
स्क्रीन नाही दिसत मॅडम.
मॅम. स्क्रीन नाही.
स्क्रीन नाही दिसत आहे. ओके, ठीक. स्क्रीन
नाही.
जॉईन होताना तुम्ही लोक तेव्हा ते स्क्रीन हे होतं, डिस्टर्ब होतं. बघा आता आला असेल. आलाय? स्क्रीन आला का?
एक मिनिट हा मॅम. नाही
अजून
आली. थांबा.
आले.
हो आली आली
आलं नाही मला आता आलं.
हा,
आली
आणि
आली आली.
जॉईन होताना आता
आली आली.
अनिकेत शेळके जॉईन झाला ना, त्याच्यामुळे ते स्क्रीन पण गेलं आणि आपोआप ते म्यूट अनम्यूट केलेलं होतं, ते म्यूट झालेलं. ओके, लेट अस स्टार्ट द
ओके.
काय रे
सॉरी
अनिकेत
मॅम.
काय डिस्टर्ब करतोय
सॉरी.
क्लासला?
आय एम
शेळके.
सॉरी मॅम. आय एम
डोंट
सॉरी
डिस्टर्ब
मॅम.
द क्लास मिस्टर अनिकेत शेळके.
येस सर. आय एम सॉरी मॅम.
चला, let us start the proper lecture. We often speak of Hahnemann as the first to note the similar action of drugs and disease conditions. But history shows us that this is not so. That means, as we consider, Dr. Hahnemann was the father of homeopathic system of medicine, therapeutic system, while before Hahnemann, so many physicians insisted for the application of this law of similia. 10 centuries BC, the ancient Hindu system of medicine was founded on the theorem which translated reads in almost identical words to those Hahnemann used. Yes, that means in the ancient, here H. Robert gives the clue for the law of similia, which is already existed in the Indian system of medicine, that is in Ayurveda. Every one of you know the there are two systems are recommended by Ayurveda also, that is a Tadarthakari Samachikitsa and Tadarthakari Chikitsa. The Samachikitsa, nothing but the law of similia, and it was introduced in Indian system of medicine before the 10th centuries BC. The ancient Hindu system of medicine was founded on theorem which translated reads in almost identical words to those Hahnemann used. And again, he gives the reference of Aristotle. Again, Aristotle about 350 BC gave the following dictum. Yes, you know, Aristotle was very well-known philosopher, and he also insisted for the application of law of similia in therapeutic system. The following paragraph is it is the word of Aristotle. Let us read. If simile acts upon simile, the result of this mutual action reveals itself in neutralization, annihilation of the original qualities, and in production of another state, which is exactly contrary to the previous one. Yes, here he explain what happened. That is the exact modus operandi of the similar medicine. If simile acts upon simile, simile acts means the similar medicine. The similar medicine to that of the simile. Simile means the disease. The natural disease is there, and by considering the totality of the symptom of this natural disease, when we selected the most similar remedy which has a capacity to produce the similar symptom than that of the disease one, and therefore simile acts upon simile. The result of this mutual action, that is the disease and the medicine which produces the similar symptom than that of the disease symptom, which reveals itself in neutralization. Yes, it is resulted into the neutralization. The similar symptom uh, produced by the drug neutralize the same symptom or the similar symptom of the disease. That is the neutralization. Annihilation, that is a total removal of the original qualities. Original quality, that is a symptom, and in production of another state, which is exactly contrary to the previous one. And in production of another state, that is, it is a mutual action, and the very whenever we selected any or when we administer any drug, it has a react, and it react or it reaction of this medicine is exact, equal and opposite, and therefore which is exactly contrary to the previous one. That is a whatever is a similar medicine you produce, whenever it produces the opposite symptom by the secondary counteraction, the cure will resulted. Cure will be resulted. If the simile of the remedy acts upon the simile of the disease, the result of this mutual action is neutralization, annihilation of the original qualities, viz. Of the pathopoiesis of the remedy. Pathopoiesis of the remedy means, patho means disease, poiesis means it is a making, the mode of production. Mode of production means poiesis. The poiesis, that is a pathopoiesis means mode of production of disease. That is a pathogenesis of the remedy and of the pathogenesis of organism, and change into the contrary state, that is health. That means the disease, whatever is produced by the organism, it is neutralized by the similar action of the medicine, and in the mutual action, the action and reaction is equal and opposite. This contrary state, that is a opposite action of the similar remedy, resulted into health. This it is a explanation given by Aristotle regarding the law of similia. Let us take the next paragraph. However, it may be about the length of time elapsed since the recognition of the law of similars. The question of dose was one which Hahnemann solved. Yes. However, it may be about the length of time elapsed since the recognition of the law of similars. That means the how much quantity of dose required for total annihilation or removal of the disease. This question is since the discovery of the law of similia, because you know the history of the minimum dose or the history of the potentization. Whenever Hahnemann selected the similar remedy for the purpose of treatment or for the purpose of cure, then because of the crudeness of the dose, there is a unnecessary homeopathic aggravation, and therefore this the question of dose, that is how much dose or how much quantity of the medicinal substance is required, it is practically solved by Dr. Hahnemann. The question of dose rests upon the philosophy pertaining to the practice of homeopathy. Yes, the question of dose pertaining means it is a appropriate or related, or you can say it is applicable. The question of dose rests upon the philosophy. Yes, behind this, whenever this most similar medicine selected and it is administered in a crude form, then by virtue of this production of this unnecessary homeopathic aggravation, Hahnemann had to think for it. Why such? Why this homeopathic aggravation occur, or whether it is necessary, or uh, how the or which quantity of medicine should be used in each condition or for each patient. These all questions, he think on this, he meditate on it, and the philosophy behind this, the philosophy which is relevant to the practice of medicine. Yes, the dose, the how much quantity of medicine is required for the annihilation of the disease, it is totally based on the philosophy. Ignoring the law of doses reveals a lack of concept of the dynamic influence over matter. Yes, the law of doses is totally related to the, it is a matter, that is a material dose against the dynamic quality of the dose. This, you have to transfer this material dose into dynamic quality, isn't it? And therefore you should not ignore this concept of the to increase the dynamic power of medicine. In life, the dynamic force is the manifestation of life itself. The body and tissues are not life, but they are the channels through which life functions. Yes, in previous lecture, we learned about what is the dynamic concept of life, or you know, the life is nothing but the material body plus mind, as well as the vital energy or vital force. And without vital force, there is no existence of life, or or the vital force is a very necessary energy to run out this material body. But it is a again question is that without this material body, there is also no existence of vital force also. Therefore the material body as well as the vital force both are interlinked with each other, while the only the material body or tissue is not life, isn't it? The life energy is necessary for running the life. Therefore he told that in life the dynamic force is the manifestation of life itself. The body and tissues are not life, but they are the channels through which life functions. Yes, this you acquainted with this life energy or the lively function through the tissues, through the functions of tissues, through functions of organ, and through the functions of this various system, isn't it? And this life force, this vital force running all these functions of the body. The man who sees these glimpses the basis of vitalism. Yes, you know the various schools of medicine, and one of the, it is a vitalism. Vitalism is who believe on the vital concept of the life, or who believe on the this life energy, or believe on the vital energy which run the life. Then the man who sees these glimpses means it is a, you can say it is a threading ज्याला आपण म्हणू की झलक त्याच्यामध्ये दिसतंय आपल्याला की व्हायटलिझम हा जो कन्सेप्ट आहे मेडिसिनचा, याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला या सगळ्या लाईफ एनर्जी कसं काय काम करते याची झलक दिसते. दॅट देर इज अ होल वर्ल्ड ऑफ कॉजेस प्रायर टू द वर्ल्ड ऑफ इफेक्ट, that matter is indestructible, and that force is transmitted through matter, and therefore it too is indestructible. Yes, you know the law of conservation of energy, that is the matter is converted into energy, and energy is converted into matter, and therefore this matter, the matter is indestructible. You can't destruct the matter, while you can transfer the matter to energy. And the force also need, or any energy also need some material one for its existence. You know very well, if you know the electricity, you cannot observe this electricity with our eyes, while you can feel the existence of this electrical energy through the various electrical instrument, isn't it? Whenever there is electricity, fans are running, or whenever there is electricity, bulbs are blowing, or whenever this current is disconnected, then the fans also stop running, and while the bulbs are get extinguished, then you say that there is no electricity. But the electricity is not itself existed in any form. It need to any material thing for its expression or for its manifestation. Similarly, matter is indestructible, and that force is transmitted through matter. This energy, this force is transmitted through matter, and therefore it too. Therefore, this force is also indestructible. That means this energy also not destructible by any other. It is also in a continuation form. Matter may change in form, but it is always present. Force may change its expression, but no unit of force is ever destroyed. Yes, matter and force which existed through the matter, it never destroyed. We hold that force on energy or dynamics. Whatever you wish to call it is the law of nature. It may express its powers in different ways, but in its essence, it is that which is breathed into man at his creation, which made him a living soul. Yes, this paragraph is very much important. It is the essence of this lecture. That is a, we hold that force. Yes, the force which it is a form, it is a simple substance, it is a formative force which lies in matter, and this matter you can't destroy it, as well as the energy which lies in this matter is, it is also not get destroyed by anything. Therefore that force or this energy or this dynamics, that is a vital force or this simple substance, whatever you wish it to call it, this, it is a law of nature. Law of nature means it is a law of conservation of energy. Energy is not created, not destroyed while it transfer from one form to another form. It is a law of nature. Understand, it is a law of nature. You cannot destruct this energy. You can't destruct this force while you transfer it from one form to another form. It may express its powers in different ways, but in its essence, it is that which was breathed into man. Yes, you may observe this energy in a different form, isn't it? For example, you can observe the uh, the first example we take as a, it is a you can observe in electrical energy. You can observe this energy in magnetism, magnetic or magnet, or you can observe this energy in various living creatures, while in plants, and whole universe endowed with this energy. Similarly, the human beings are also the part of this nature, and it is also live whenever there is a existence of this energy. But in its essence, it is that which was breathed into man. Yes, it is also breathed into. Yes, man is live. Breath means live. And why man is live? Because there is a vital force, because there is a energy. And this energy which we gain from the nature, or which we gain from our parental cell, or you can say which we gain from the live parental cell. Whenever there is a union of this live ovum and live sperm, then there is a fertilization occur, and subsequent life is created by the multiplication of the cell. If there is no life, there is no multiplication, and there is no development of fetus. And therefore this energy which we get from the nature, and therefore it is, he called that it is an energy breathed into man at his creation. That it, from this creation of the human life as a separate entity, this energy is transferred from the parental cell which made him a living soul. Have you get it? Then this energy, it is a law of conservation of energy. It is not created, not destroyed, but it just transfer from one form to another form. The expression of this law may vary and find different expressions as attraction, gravity, electricity, chemical affinity, dynamism, or spiritual power. It is an expression of, and all combined under one head and source of power, that is God. Yes, this expression of this law, that is a energy is not, I mean matter and energy is not destructible. These are all indestructible. The expression of this law may vary. या एनर्जीचं एक्सप्रेशन हे कसं आहे, खूप वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीने आपल्याला दिसत आहे. फाइंड डिफरंट एक्सप्रेशन as attraction. Attraction, it is a magnetic power, you can say. The magnet attract towards iron. Then the gravitational force, it is also one of the energy. Electricity. Then chemical affinity, yes, having the affinity towards the specific chemical substance, or affinity of different chemical substance with each other. The dynamism or spiritual power, which we observe in living creature, it is an expression of, and all combined under one head. That is, this energy we gain from the one head. That is it is this we gain from the cosmic energy. This whole, the energy which run the whole universe, which is run our solar system, which run the life on earth. Earth is also moving, the moon is also a planet moving around the earth, and therefore this energy which run the whole universe, it is the supreme source of power. It is a nothing but, he called it is a God. Yes, here we believe the existence of God, or the creation of this energy, or the all this life from the supreme power, that is that is from God. Let us take the next paragraph. Hahnemann was a representative of this school of thought, and he plumbed deeply into these mysteries. That means Hahnemann was the representative of the school of vitalism because he believed on the supreme power, he believed on the source of power, he believed on this dynamic power, and he also believed the different expression of the energy in the universe, and therefore he also believed the drug energy. Therefore he is from the school of vitalism, and therefore H. Robert called Hahnemann was the representative of this school of thought, and he plumbed deeply. Plumbed deeply means he त्यांनी काळजीपूर्वक अभ्यास करून परीक्षण करून एखादं गूढ असतं जे मिस्ट्री आपण ज्याला म्हणतो त्या सगळ्या ह्या एनर्जीच्या डिफरंट फॉर्मला ह्या युनिव्हर्सला ह्या सगळ्या जगाच्या चालवणाऱ्या जो जी कुठली एनर्जी आहे ह्याला त्यांनी समजून घेतलाय. त्यांनी फक्त मटेरियलिझम त्याचा एक कन्सेप्ट नव्हता, नॉट अ मटेरियलिझम विच इज एक्सपेक्टेड ऑर द ओनली ही कन्सिडर the union of these tissues, cells and organ is life or body, but while he believe on the vital aspect of the life, and therefore he very studied deeply into these mystery, and he believe on the supreme power. He became dissatisfied with the thought of his days and read extensively the medical works of the ancient. He became dissatisfied with the thoughts of his days. That means he not agree with the material concept of the disease or material concept of the life. He never thought that only the part of the body get affected or the part of the body is diseased, while he believe on the vital aspect of the life, and therefore the he believe on this derangement of vital force or the existence of the vital force, the role of vital force in life, role of vital force in health, and also the role of vital force in disease as well as role of vital force in cure. They, the role of vital force is totally devoid in the school of allopathy. They only have a material, they study the disease only the material point of view. They believe on that thing, that which they can see with their eyes, they can touch with their finger and observe under any microscope, and they believe that the any pathological changes which occur, which are nothing but the disease, while Hahnemann thought that disease is more than the pathological changes, and this pathological changes is the ultimates of the disease. It is not a starting point, it is not a disease itself, while it is the end product of the disease, it is the ultimate of the disease, while disease processes start at the dynamic level. And therefore he became dissatisfied with the thought of his days and read extensively the medical work of the ancient, and therefore he studied the he was a very curious and intelligent mind. He had the knowledge of 12 languages. He also work of the work for the translation of medical classics, and therefore he was very much interested in this ancient languages as well as ancient literature, and he used his and he work on these ancient medical classics and try to find out the cause of disease or the this existence of the influence of this energy on human life, not only in the state of health, while in disease also. In his delvings, he found several not long before his own time, like Stahl of Denmark and Halle in Switzerland, who had observed that medicines might cure disease by the power they possessed of causing like diseases in healthy human beings. Yes, in his delving means it is a deep study. Delving means त्याला सखोल चौकशी ज्याला आपण म्हणतो deep study. He found several not long before his own time, like Stahl of Denmark. Yes, in his delving, he found several that when he studied deeply the ancient medical literature, he observed that before him, Stahl from Denmark and Helle of Switzerland, who observed that medicines might cure disease by the power they possess of causing like disease in healthy human beings. That is, he got the clue of law of similia in various other physicians before his days also insisted for the, or they also hinted the law of Sibylla. He comprehended that these men had observed this phenomena, but that it had been allowed to fall into disuse without application. Yes, he observed that before him, many other physicians hinted or they know the law of similia, while they are not use this law for the practice of medicine. They not applied this law for the practice. At this stage, Hahnemann determined to discover the action of drugs upon human beings by observing all the details of their action upon healthy subject. Yes, he know that if we want to know, if we want to apply the law of similia in practice for the betterment of the human being, or by removal of the disease in its whole extent, or the cure, or for the cure purpose, then for the comparison of the disease symptom with the medicinal symptom, the proving of the drug is necessary. You must have a knowledge of the action of drug beforehand, isn't it? की जे मेडिसिन आपण क्युअर पर्पज साठी वापरणार आहे, का बरं हे स्टाल, डेथडीन किंवा सेल्सस, पॅरासेल्सस, हॅले, हे सर्वांना हा लॉ माहिती होता. त्याच्यापूर्वी अनेक जणांनी याला, हिप्पोक्रेटला पण माहिती होता, एरिस्टॉटलने पण त्याचा क्ल्यू दिलेला आहे, पण कोणीच हा लॉ प्रॅक्टिस होता आणि म्हणून कोणीही हा लॉ अप्लिकेबल करू शकलं नाही प्रॅक्टिस मध्ये. पण हॅनीमननी काय केलेलं आहे,